It's the last day of the month of November in the year 2025. Good afternoon. Welcome to Weekend Central. This bulletin is coming to you live from the news hub here at Adesawe Kanda. We're live on Facebook as TV3 Ghana and on DSTV channel 279. My name is George Queening.
And I am Judith Brown, coming up to the bulletin this afternoon. This afternoon, over 220,000 candidates, making up more than half of candidates who sat for 2025 West African Senior High School Certificate Examination, failed core mathematics.
And Asante Henry mediation team meets Bawku feuding factions today, hoping to finally resolve long-running conflicts within expected 48-hour resolution window.
And also this afternoon, Ghana Health Service says stronger primary health care is critical to fight to save mothers and newborns. Welcome once again to the bulletin. We start from here. Now, the West African Examinations Council, WASSCE, has released the provisional results for the 2025 West African Senior High School Certificate Examination, WASSCE, for school candidates, with the data showing significant declines in performance in several core subjects. A total of 461,736 candidates from 1,021 schools registered for the examination, representing a slight 0.24% increase over the 2024 entry figure. Of these, 5,821 candidates, represented 1.26%, were absent. WASSCE statistics show that more than half of the candidates, making up 220,008, failed core mathematics, making it the weakest performance recorded in 7 years. Contrasting the poor performance in other subjects, English language recorded the highest pass rate, with 69% of candidates scoring A1 and C6. Now let's engage the head of public affairs at the West African Examination Council, WASSCE, John Kapi. Good afternoon, sir. Now, what specific factors caused the worst core mathematics performance in 7 whole years? Over 220,000 students of the total of 461,736 candidates who sat that exams.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. If you look at the results that we have put out, we have been very specific about the statistics. We indicated that the statistics that we put out there is representative of the results that we have released so far. So it is not the entire candidates of, or the entire cohort, as it were, that sat examination that have their results released. We have a number of them withheld. And so if you look at it, you realize that the heading indicates that performance of candidates in the published results. So far, those we have published is what you've seen. There are still quite a number of them that we are still investigating.
And what can be done to address the challenges that led to this poor performance when maths is a critical subject for tertiary admission?
Well, as we speak, the chief examiners are putting together their reports, and then we will study them, and then we'll pass them on to the teachers who are teaching the candidates in the classroom. So for now, it will be difficult for us to explain specifically the reason for the poor performance. But when the chief examiner's report is ready, that would indicate to us where the children's weaknesses are and where there's a need for any form of reinforcement, if any.
And English language recorded the highest pass rate, with 69% of candidates scoring between A1 and C6. Good news there, but what may have accounted for this?
Well, so as I said earlier, these are published results so far. We don't have 100% of the results released so far. So we would say that, well, again, we haven't had any report from the chief examiner to tell specifically how things went with the candidates this particular year, whether they had been a little more successful, as it were, in answering some of the questions. So again, if we get the chief examiner's report, that would be a very, very, good place for us to be able to assess the reasons for the performance that we have this year.
Right. Now, let's talk about the issue on malpractices, because 653 candidates had their results cancelled over examination malpractices. What type of malpractices are we talking about?
So we've had, for those who've had their entire results cancelled, it was as a result of mobile phone infractions. For the other candidates who may have subject results cancelled, it's as a result of collusion or bringing in foreign material into the examination hall. These are things that were detected when our monitors went around. So most of them, you'll find them copying from prepared notes, or some of them had come in there with their textbooks. So that's the reason we have had to cancel certain subject results of the candidates. But for those whose entire results were cancelled, it was as a result of mobile phone infractions.
Right. And lastly, before you go, the results that have been withheld, how soon will candidates have access to them?
Well, we are working around the clock. If you read our statement, we indicated clearly that we want to make sure that we finish with all the cases before the end of December 2025.
Right. Many thanks for your time. John Kapi is the head of public affairs at the West African Examination Council, WASSCE. He has been giving us all the details as regards to the provisional results that have been released as far as WASSCE is concerned. Let's do some more stories now. A crisis is quietly unfolding, with more mothers and newborns dying in hospitals and homes across the country. Now, often these deaths result from complications that could have been prevented. Health experts are therefore calling for a swift action to save mothers and children.
Ghana continues to battle high maternal and perinatal mortality. This is driven by preventable complications like hemorrhage, hypertension, infections, and limited access to timely emergency obstetric care. Despite progress, these preventable complications continue to claim the lives of mothers and their babies. Between 2022 and 2024, more than 2,000 maternal deaths were recorded, raising alarm for immediate action. Dr. Kennedy Brightson is the director of the Family Health Division at the Ghana Health Service.
What the raw data says is that over 800 able-bodied Ghanaian pregnant women walk into our labor wards to deliver, and they lose their lives. So this is worrying. In 2022, it was about 806. Up to 2024, last year, the difference has not been too significant. It's still above 800. And we are saying that, yes, Ghana has seen this challenge. And part of the effort to combat this menace is to produce more midwives and more doctors, more specialists in the field of maternal health.
For the Ghana Health Service, the fight to save mothers and newborns begins with a stronger primary health care. Deputy Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Caroline Emisa, believes that efforts to bring life-saving care closer to families will go a long way in aiding the fight against maternal and perinatal mortality.
The free primary health care that the government is preaching, that we are hoping to now revise how our primary health care strategy works, is such that people will be assigned to groups, populations, catchment areas where they go in there. So that has been the idea or the concept from the past. It's just that the resources to do that, because this involves logistics. People will need to move from wherever they work and go to areas they have been assigned, so house to house sort of, and look at each household, whether there are any children there, any mothers there. If there are children there, then you know the interventions that are there for children.
Stakeholders at the 5th National Maternal Child Health and Nutrition Conference are expected to brainstorm to find a long-lasting solution.
Still on health, the Minister of Health says all is set for the acquisition of a DNA testing device for the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research. And this follows the country's inability to conduct its own DNA test after the recent helicopter crash. Take a listen.
Speaking to the media at this year's annual research meeting of the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, Minister for Health, Kwabena Minta Akando, said President Mahama has directed that a DNA testing device be procured for the institute. According to the minister, the directive was issued by President Mahama after samples from victims of the helicopter crash had to be flown to South Africa for DNA testing.
It is no more a promise, it's something that is in action. After the unfortunate helicopter crash, we realized that we had to fall on other countries for further investigations of the samples we had in the country. So there and then His Excellency the President directed that we should procure DNA test machines for the Noguchi Memorial Institute. And so the order has been made, the procurement is almost completed and the order has been made. And so we're looking forward at the nearest couple of months, Noguchi will have a DNA testing machine.
The minister commended the work of Noguchi over the years. Director of the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, University of Ghana, Professor Dorothy Yeboah-Menu said the institute's work continues to influence several global initiatives and policies. Prof. Yeboah-Menu cautioned the public against the use of antibiotics without a doctor's prescription.
What it means is that antibiotics are failed for the layperson because we are misusing antibiotics. They are failing us. And that we should stop abusing antibiotics. You only have to take antibiotics because a doctor has prescribed that you need it. If no doctor has prescribed for you, you should take antibiotics. During COVID, we were washing our hands. We were preventing infection.
Now, the Minister for Defense and Finance, Acting Minister for Defense as well, Dr. Cassie Latofo-Singh, has expressed concern over the numerous infractions recorded in the latest Auditor General's report. Now, speaking at the inauguration of the Ministry of Defence's Internal Audit Committee, he cited instances where documents were signed for the purchase of vehicles that were never delivered at the Ministry of Defense.
If you were to look at the audit reports that the Auditor General has been bringing them, number of infractions are whether take a sense, unfortunately, wrong signals to one the people of Ghana and our stakeholders that the country is not taking public accounts. It is becoming a matter that if it is not taking, it will erode the confidence in our democracy, how public finances are being managed.
Dr. Latofo-Singh further noted that the continued infractions captured in the Auditor General's report, if not addressed, risk eroding public trust in state institutions.
If any part of this country fail, not the Ministry of Defense, this is the line, the place that line of integrity will have to be drawn here. But if every sector fails, there should be integrity for the Ministry of Defense and Ghana Armed Forces. And so I don't want to see the next audit report from the Auditor General with the Ministry of Defense being mentioned. Because we hold the nation together. Yep. We are the ones that will hold the country together, no matter what.
In more news this afternoon, the IGP Special Operations Team has intensified its crackdown on criminal gangs in the Tamale and Sablugu, arresting 16 suspects and destroying hideouts used for drug peddling, robbery and other violent crimes.
We are about to move for our assignment this afternoon. As you are aware, as we go out this afternoon, let us all put our best to make sure that we are able to do everything right. The moment they continue to take the drugs, that is how they are influenced to commit crime. So if you are able to fight this, coupled with the robbery gang that we are able to scatter, definitely we'll be able to make the jurisdiction very safe for everybody to live.
Following a briefing session, the IGP Special Operations Team proceeded to a forest reserve near the Northern School of Business, an area notorious for robbery, rape, drug peddling, substance abuse and motorcycle snatching. A coordinated swoop around 2:30 p.m. saw several suspects attempt to flee. Despite fierce resistance and gunfire from the criminals, the police arrested 14 individuals. Exhibits retrieved included quantities of dried leaves, suspected to be Indian hemp, masks, scissors, cutlasses, stolen motorbikes, mobile phones, and male condoms. 3 tricycles loaded with drugs were also found, deliberately immobilized by their owners to prevent the police from towing them. The team dismantled structures used as criminal hideouts and destroyed the tricycles, describing them as a continuing security threat based on intelligence linking them to robberies and snatching operations in the metropolis. Pedestrians and residents who witnessed the operation praised the team, describing the area as a no-go zone that had long overwhelmed local police. Residents expressed relief, noting that the intervention has brought renewed safety and mobility to the metropolis. Acting on further intelligence, the team moved to the Sakasaka Butchers Market, arresting 2 more suspects for drug peddling, bringing the total to 16. All suspects were immediately caged in the Black Maria, with seized items transported to the Northern Regional Police Headquarters for processing.
This team is not only rushing after drug peddlers, but robbers are also involved. So this is a warning to everybody who are involved in robbery or those who are in the process of getting themselves involved. The team will look for you and come for you. So all those who are petty thieves, those who are robbers, those who use every sort of weapon to rob, you should put it in mind that the team will come for you no matter where you are hiding.
Prior to the operation, the team was in Savlugu, where provision and pharmaceutical shops suspected to be selling synthetic drugs to the unsuspecting public in the guise of doing genuine business were also raided. The operation highlights the growing need for increased vigilance given the boldness of criminal gangs in the region. The Special Operations Team reaffirmed its commitment to dismantling criminal networks and preventing drug dealers from destroying the future of the youth.
In other stories this afternoon, Deputy Minister for the Interior, Ebenezer Oklete-Telabi, has emphasized the importance of collective effort in ensuring fire safety in Ghana. Speaking at the 3rd Ghana National Fire Service Conference, the Deputy Minister noted that plans are underway to resource the Ghana National Fire Service through the Security Services Fund.
The Ghana National Fire Service is required to provide adequate protection of life and property and sensitize and provide technical assistance and advice to schools, markets, MMDAs, lorry parks, and other institutions nationwide on fire safety measures. The major program and project assigned to the service is fire management, rescue and extrication services. Deputy Interior Minister, speaking at conference in Accra, said fire safety should be a shared responsibility. The Deputy Minister urged stakeholders to support Ghana National Fire Service with equipment, training and resources.
I have always believed that safety is the foundation of development. No investor will put their money where a single fire can wipe away a factory overnight. No parent will send their child to school if they fear that the classrooms are unsafe. No trader will sleep peacefully if they know that tomorrow their entire livelihood could go up in flames. Fire safety is therefore not a side issue. It is central to our economic growth, our social well-being, and our vision of secure, prosperous Ghana.
The Chief Fire Officer, Daniela Mawushi Intu Sapon, stated that despite logistic difficulties, the service has made strides through public education and saving lives and properties.
The service will soon roll out a complete digitalization of fire safety certification and inspection process. A significant proportion of our fire tenders are obsolete, with an average age of 15 years. Every fire officer was therefore filled with joy upon the announcement by the government, who has plans to procure 100 fire tenders and other extrication equipment. About 80 districts still lack fully and functional
compelling existing fire stations to cover large jurisdictions with limited capacity. Additionally, there is a growing need for specialized training in emerging areas like industrial fires.
She assured that the Ghana National Fire Service will soon roll out its digitalization program aimed at enhancing its work. The conference aims to address the challenges facing Ghana National Fire Service, including inadequate resources and infrastructure. The conference themed Resourcing Ghana National Fire Service for Effective Service Delivery, the role of stakeholders, highlight the need for stakeholders to work together to prevent fire and manage emergencies. Joseph Armstrong, Gold Alugwe TV3, Accra.
Well, if you're just tuning in, you're watching Weekend Central with myself and Judith Brown. In more news this afternoon, the road to resolving the protracted Bawku conflict is expected to end in the next 48 hours when the Asantehene Otumfuo said to the second mediation team meet feuding parties at the Menchia Palace today. My colleague William Evans Inkum, who is also the Northern Sector Bureau Chief, has been providing updates on the mediation processes, and he joins me live from Menchia Palace. William, thanks for joining us. Let's first understand the mood there.
Well, so that's of a preparation. The gate is already opened. The auditorium is not far from where I'm standing, and an indication that everything is almost set for that all-important gathering. Today is arrival, and coming here, I saw a number of buses arrive from the north. That is to say, the parties are almost here. Now, what is left is for that meeting, and we understand the real action will be tomorrow.
Okay.
George.
Okay, so, but can you confirm whether sitting has begun?
Well, so it is beginning tomorrow. That is what I understand. And we also be asking what mode communication will be like. That is after sitting. Tomorrow, to many, looks quote unquote like a verdict. I'm also getting the indication that there has been some level of closed door interaction. Tomorrow will be the day of cementing whatever has been discussed behind closed doors throughout the mediation process. But right after that, what next? That is the question that, many have been seeking. That is Menchia going to issue a statement detailing all that compromises that have been made and all of that throughout the mediation process within the last couple of months. That one is not certain yet. Then there's also another question whether there's going to be a direct communication to the presidency. Then after that, there's going to be a communication to the entire nation as to where the mantle has fallen. That one is also not clear. But what we do know is that there's going to be an end to the mediation process, and what many are hoping for is lasting peace. And for the lasting peace to prevail, the two parties will have to understand each other.
Okay, William, so what should we be expecting in terms of communication flow?
Well, in terms of communication flow, like I mentioned early on, we are not too clear whether there's going to be, because I'm saying we are not too clear because information has been a bit economical. So we are not too clear whether there's going to be a direct communication to the public as to how the parties have resolved to allow peace to prevail and all of that. Or it is going to be secondary as far as public eagerness to get information is concerned. That is to say, the whatever arrival or whatever conclusion or resolution that probably the two parties will arrive at, that particular information will channel through or will first go to the president and then afterwards come to the public. This kind of information hasn't been shared yet. But what we do understand is that tomorrow the parties are meeting for the third time, facing each other, and that many are believing that probably we're going to see some level of understanding and then peace at last.
William Evans Inkum is our Northern Bureau Sector Chief, bringing us update from Menchia Palace prior to mediation talks on the Bawku conflict. Judith.
Absolutely. Now, a circuit court in Tamale has sentenced 2 police officers to a combined 13 years imprisonment for unlawful possession of narcotics and conspiracy to traffic narcotic drugs. The court, presided over by Her Lordship Aliana Kakra Barnes Botre, found Assistant Superintendent of Police ASP Nasiru Amadou and Corporal Emmanuel Minta guilty after nearly 4 years of trial. According to the facts presented in the court, the prosecutor, ASP NS Kofi, said the case began in 2023 when a police officer at the Afienya District Police Command lodged a complaint regarding the suspicious activities of 2 officers. At the time, Amadou, who is 48, was the second in command at the Sakumono District Police Headquarters, working closely with Minta. Investigations that followed revealed the involvement of the 2 officers in the possession of and attempted trafficking of narcotics, leading to the arrest and subsequent prosecution. Both officers were convicted on the charges and handed custodial sentences, bringing an end to a case that has drawn public attention due to the involvement of senior police personnel. Now, local government stakeholders are calling for stronger, well-resourced implementation of Ghana's sexual exploitation, abuse and harassment policy, as part of efforts to end gender-based violence in the workplace. Now, at a forum in Accra, officials highlighted the urgent need to translate sensitization into concrete action across all MMDAs.
The forum, held under the global theme Invest to End GBV in the Workplace Now, focused on the effects of gender-based violence on women working within Ghana's local government administrative system. It also assessed progress on implementing the SIA policy developed by the Office of the Head of Local Government Service in 2025. Director of Administration and General Services at the Office of the Head of Local Government Service, Goda Asante, said the SIA policy provides a clear, time-bound procedure for handling complaints, including a maximum 21-day period for completing investigations.
Raising awareness of GBV within local government administration is the first step. But awareness alone is not enough. Policy alone is not enough. Male allies are essential. When men challenge harmful norms, support survivors, and champion accountability, institutions change and cultures change.
Chairman of the Board of the Ghana National Film Authority, NFA, and Chief Executive Officer of Farmhouse Productions, Ivan Kwashiga, encouraged students to use their transformative power to foster new ideas.
Sexual exploitation, abuse, and harassment plan incorporated in our medium-term development plan, it means that we can get resources for implementation. And that is why I indicated that the resources must follow the functions, and the functions are in the plans. So we need a good plan for this anti-SIA policy.
The global theme Invest to End GBV in the Workplace Now and forms part of global efforts to mark the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities as partner.
You're still watching Weekend Central, myself and George Queenie. We're going for a very first break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Graduating students in their gowns file into the compound of the University of Media, Arts and Communication Ghana, UNIMAC, that's the Institute of Journalism, as family and friends watch with pride. The ceremony marks the culmination of 2 years of training in journalism and also public relations, film studies, and other related courses.
At the University of Media, Arts and Communication, UNIMAC GIJ, the atmosphere was filled with excitement and accomplishment as this year's graduating class gathered to receive their certificates. The first session of the fourth congregation saw the passing out of 897 students. Out of this number, 697 students were females, representing 75.5%. Addressing the congregation, Vice Chancellor Professor Bawku acknowledged some notable alumni who have taken up some influential roles and accolades in society. He urged students to walk confidently into the world as social transformers.
Your UNIMAC training is your competitive advantage. Never underestimate the power of your voice, because voices shape attitude. Never doubt the value of your craft, because creativity builds economies. This year, we have seen UNIMAC alumni take up some of the most daring or the audacious roles and accolades, both in public and private sector. From the Presidential Advisor and Special Aide to the President of Ghana, Madam Joyce Bawa Muktari, to the 2025 BBC Komla Dumont Awardee, Mr. Godwin Asediba.
Chairman of the Board of the Ghana National Film Authority, NFA, and Chief Executive Officer of Farmhouse Productions, Ivan Kwashiga, encouraged students to use the transformative power to foster new ideas.
Today, technology is changing everything, and artificial intelligence, AI, is disrupting the creative arts. With AI, fake copies of paintings are generated, deep fakes are created, and art forms that sometimes lack emotional depth are produced, alongside music and movies that may feel humanly unrealistic.
A female filming director student, Joanna Inshira Edu Amweni, emerged as the valedictorian with a GPA of 3.99. She shared her excitement with TV3.
I feel very excited, very thankful to God, very thankful to my parents, my family, and my lecturers, and my friends that also supported me throughout this journey. It's very heartwarming, and my heart is just full of gratitude. I did film directing, so I expect some good films, not just from me, but from my graduating class as well.
And a big congratulations to all the graduates there. Now, the president of the Ghana Baptist University, Riafe Inti Akenten, has appealed to the government to consider private universities in the no academic fee policy. In an interview with TV3, he posited that it is one surest way of ensuring an equal benefit of the flagship policy.
Private university is logistics and at times resources for the students. And even with the current policy from government that all tertiary institutions first year are to receive free education, that one has not been extended to private universities. So I want to take this opportunity to appeal to the President, His Excellency John Mahama, to also extend that policy to the private hands, because they are all Ghanaians and they should all enjoy that, because only public universities cannot take all the students in Ghana here. So once the private universities are also happy, the government should also see us through. But it has posed a great challenge to the private institutions, because even this year our intake is very, very low because of the introduction of the free policy for government universities. It is affecting us, and we use the resource of our income is the school fees, and once we don't get the numbers, we also find financial challenges.
Well, let's stay on education. As Vice Chancellor of the University of Mines and Technology, UMAT, in Takwa, Professor Richard Kwesi Abankwah has called for full government collaboration to ensure the success of the Blue Water Initiative. Addressing the congregation at the university's 17th ceremony, Professor Abankwah stated that UMAT utilizes satellite imaging to monitor river water quality.
Other researches are going on campus. The AI-driven technique for identifying corrosion in oil pipelines, working together with Ghana Gas, is going on. We also have this technology where some geomatic engineers led by Professor Cynthia Boyd, they use satellite imagery to capture the quality of water in our rivers. And they have been able to do that to check the quality of water in many of the rivers in small-scale mining communities. Coupled to that, in the minerals engineering department, they are also taking samples from these same rivers and calculating how they can purify it. I want to say and put it on record that UMAT has the technology and the know-how to clear all the polluted rivers in Ghana if given the opportunity.
Now, the outgoing president of the Institution of Engineering and Technology Ghana, Engineer Henry Kojo Boateng, has called on the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, to pay attention to various schools across the country that are offering engineering programs without the required standard engineering environment.
The outgoing president of the Institution of Engineering and Technology Ghana, Engineer Henry Kojo Boateng, emphasized that Ghana's progress hangs on the strength of its engineering leadership. This is especially at a time when rapid technological transformation and global pressures continue to shape economics and societies. Engineer Boateng said Ghana is not short of technical expertise, rather it struggles with lapses in accountability.
The universities should not only focus on the money or the revenue that they are generating, coming up with these models, but they must look at the quality. We must look at the infrastructure. We must look at the laboratories. We must look at the link between the universities and the industries.
He called on the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, to ensure that schools teaching engineering have the needed environment for the profession.
You go to some of the universities, even the classroom, you can see that the class is overflow. You have students standing outside listening to the lecturers. Engineering is not this. It's not a course like the humanities program that we just listen. You must go to the labs. You must go to the field, produce graduates who are half-baked, then it becomes difficult. When they come to the field, then the industry have to take time again to retrain them, which is a challenge.
And now the Greater Accra Regional Directorate of the Ghana Education Service has received STEM learning materials, and this is expected to enhance hands-on learning and support hundreds of schools across the region.
The items include basic laboratory kits, robotics components, math manipulatives, and teacher demonstration tools and resources for many schools, especially in underdeserved communities. According to ITEC Global, which facilitated the supply, the distribution is part of Ghana's national basic science, technology, engineering, mathematics STEM rollout.
It was realised that the students going into a senior high school were not well equipped enough, so we needed to improve the education at basic level for basic science and maths. So that project was developed a few years back, and then slowly it's morphed into a STEM education, include technology and maths. Currently we're supplying 3,500 schools. We will go on to do another 700 or 800 in the next few months, and then ultimately over the next few years we should reach about 10,000 schools.
At the secondary level, enrollment in general science has grown by nearly 25% in recent years, showing the impact of ongoing STEM-focused policies. The Greater Accra Education Directorate says distribution of the materials will begin immediately, prioritizing schools most in need.
So far as we talk about 21st century skills, these are the things that we need for our learners to go to other places and also be able to fit into the world of work. And then it will even go to the primary level and to the KG level, where we have the foundation. And if the science foundation is strong at the basic level, when they get to secondary schools, it will be very easy for them.
Officials say the donation will ensure that every child, regardless of where they live, is provided a fair chance to explore, create, and imagine through the lens of science.
Well, let's know what you make of STEM education and stories that I've aired so far. We are active on Facebook. Hopefully, we'll read your comments and share them to the rest of the world. We're going for a quick commercial break. The news continues right after.
This Sunday on Hot Issues.
Why should the faith-based groups
Welcome back. Now, residents of Yepemsu in the Teshiman South metropolis of the Bunnis region are appealing to the government for urgent intervention to fix their deteriorating road. The road, which links the community to other neighboring communities, has become a major obstacle to health and economic productivity.
We are here at Yepemsu, and just like the name goes, residents living here are struggling with the road that connects them to Techiman and neighboring communities. This does not only affect their livelihoods, but also affect economic activities as well as healthcare. Residents complain that getting healthcare in the neighboring communities is a struggle. Some women mostly lose their pregnancies or have miscarriages when plying this route.
Because the road is bad, most of us end up losing our pregnancies, or even if you're able to give birth, you might lose your baby in the long run. Getting a car here is very difficult when you're in labor, and even if you manage to get to the hospital, you might end up losing the baby. Imagine you're in labor in the evening and no car wants to go because the road is bad. This situation alone can lead you to your early grave. Because of the nature of the road, we are always going for repairs. It makes driving unattractive in this area. The women are the ones who suffer the most here. Because we don't have a health facility here, whenever they are going to deliver, they would have to go to neighboring communities, and the road is terrible. Beyond the critical health risk, the road's condition is stifling communities' economic potential. Farmers and traders struggle to move their produce to the larger markets in Techiman, leading to increased transport costs and spoilage. Haulage vehicles are often reluctant to use the route, and those that do charge exorbitant fees due to increased wear and tear on vehicles. This isolation drives up cost of goods imported into Yepemsu and simultaneously suppresses the value of goods exported from the community.
They are appealing for government to come in and fix their road for them.
We will plead with government to intervene and fix our road for us. We are appealing for government to intervene and fix for us.
Belinda Tete, TV3 News, Yepemsu.
As the dry season begins in the northern part of the country, one critical nightmare for this very season for residents, especially school children within the greater Tamale metropolis, is the perennial water crisis. For them, it is time for government to take action to address the problem. My colleague Christopher Bawku has more in the full report.
For nearly 2 decades, the availability of water for domestic and commercial use has been a concern for residents in most parts of the greater Tamale metropolis and the Sanargu municipality of the northern region. The Ghana Water Limited, the main water distribution company, blames the situation on increasing population of Tamale and the use of obsolete equipment, which has surpassed the current water supply capacity. The estimated average water consumption of Tamale currently stands at 140,000 cubic meters a day. However, the Ghana Water Limited supplies 30,000 cubic meters, which is woefully inadequate to meet the demand of the residents.
Tamale is a huge project. The cost is almost 225 million euros. So it's a huge project. It should be halfway about, I can't be very specific, but it should be significantly in the process. Because you know, Tamale, the distribution lines are already there. We only need to extend more distribution lines to reach out. And then the transmission lines are key.
The Tamale water system, originally built in 1972, has only undergone one major expansion in 2008. With the water table of Tamale being low, most residents, especially students, have had to bear the brunt every year, searching for water from almost dry dams and other dugouts. Residents, especially school children, have to use water from unwholesome sources like dugouts, a situation which poses a serious health risk.
The road is very far. You see, we're still there since 4:30. Now we are coming back to school late. The road is still far. You see this road, you go far, and so you see the end. You will now enter the dam. The water too is not good. If you see the color of the water, you will not even like it. And some of us, we are even taking the water, and it's not good for our health.
We are suffering from the water. Every night we are supposed to go there and fetch the water and come to our school and bath. Sometimes we send our clothes there and wash, and they are even cleaning us there.
Of course, the water is not clean, as we all know, and we don't even have water in our school. So we used to go to Garasco Dam to fetch water, and the water is not safe for our drinking.
Despite ongoing efforts to improve the situation, there still remain serious challenges. On Saturday, November 22, while addressing the 65th anniversary celebration of Ghana Senior High School in Tamale, President Mahama reiterated that the Tamale Yendi Damango water projects will commence soon.
But I want to assure you that next year, work is going to start on the Damango Tamale water station. We're getting a new source point for water on the white water, and so we're going to pump water from Yape to bring additional millions of gallons of water into Tamale. And once that project is finished, Ganasco's water problem will be a thing of the past.
Well, Judith, the festive season is almost here. If it's not here, that's December 1 is tomorrow.
Yeah.
How happy are you?
Well, I'm very happy. I miss the nostalgic feeling when I was a child and Christmas was approaching.
Yeah.
I knew we were going to get gifts.
Your glasses.
Eat some fried rice and chicken, but now fried rice is a normal thing for the day. So that's how I wrap up the bulletin for this afternoon. My name is Judith Brown. I've been doing this with.
And my name is Josh Queenin. And for more news updates, just log on to our website, s3news.com. Alternatively, join my colleagues at 7 for News 360. Hot issues is at 1 p.m. today, so do make a date. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.